Revealed, the incredible journey of one amazing girl hiding in a male-dominated world. Mia Johnson felt like a spark in a sea of darkness. With her dark curly hair bouncing as she moved, she held her head high, striding through the hallways of her Michigan high school, a place filled with boys who seemed to take the spotlight as if it were their birthright. Whenever she imagined her future, she pictured herself designing and building bridges. Not just any bridges, but ones that connected communities, spanning rivers and reaching across divides. But with every smile or dismissive comment from her classmates, that vision started to flicker. The annual science fair was the grand stage she'd been waiting for. Mia looked over her solar-powered model bridge, its tiny LED lights twinkling like stars. She could almost hear her grandfather's voice, a war hero who fought for what was right, encouraging her from beyond. "You can build anything, Mia." But in moments, that excitement transitioned into dread as whispers floated around her like shadows. When her classmate Jake showcased his extravagant robot, his charming grin swept the judges off their feet. "Mia's project? Just a cute hobby," he laughed off, and her heart sank. Suddenly, the festival atmosphere crumbled under the weight of her disappointment. Tears threatened to spill as self-doubt crept in like a thief in the night. Who was she to challenge the status quo? Yet, Mia's mother, a beacon of strength who worked tirelessly to support her, often reminded Mia, "It takes a strong heart to be different." Those words echoed in her mind, lighting a fire of determination. Fueled by that spark of resilience, Mia set out to change the conversation. She rallied her friends and local mentors, launching a campaign that aimed to level the playing field for girls in STEM. Workshops and community meetings emerged, brimming with bright-eyed girls eager to learn and explore new horizons. Each late night spent preparing was filled with laughter and hope, but also saw moments of frustration as barriers became apparent. During a local city council meeting, Mia stood before a crowd, heart pounding like a drum. "Why not girls?" she questioned, facing skeptical glances. It was raw, it was real, and her voice trembled with emotion. To her surprise, her peers stood between her and those skeptics, echoing her plea. The crowd began to rally, sparking hesitant nods from adults. The ripples of her courage began to touch the surface, but inside, doubts clawed at her. Would parents really let their daughters break the mold? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. Just when it seemed like Mia's dreams might blossom, the principal revealed that Jake was the surprise guest speaker at the community festival. A wave of anxiety crashed over her. The day she had been building towards seemed to take a sharp turn, and doubt gripped her heart. Could she carve her place in this world? Would her community see her worth? As the festival approached, she found her breath steadying for what lay ahead, but the uncertainty bubbled within. What would happen when she stepped into the light? Would she be seen? More importantly, would all her efforts truly matter? Mia's heart raced as the night of the community festival arrived. The school auditorium buzzed with excitement, a kaleidoscope of colors and voices blending together. Parents, friends, and even strangers crowded into the room, filling every corner. Mia stood behind the curtain, her fingers trembling against the smooth surface of her project. She could hear the chatter, the laughter, but it felt like an ocean tide, pulling her deeper into uncertainty. With each moment, the knot in her stomach twisted tighter. Jake's laughter echoed in her ears as if he were right there, reveling in the praise and adoration that she had always yearned for. What if they laugh again? She whispered to herself. The encouraging words of her mother washed over her, but fear threatened to drown them out. When the curtain finally lifted, the auditorium erupted with applause. Colorful lights flashed across the stage, illuminating faces, filled with anticipation. Mia took a deep breath and stepped into the light, each footfall echoing her heartbeat. She felt exposed, her vulnerabilities laid bare as she began to speak. "Hi, everyone. My name is Mia Johnson, and this is my project." The words came tumbling out, but her confidence wavered. She glanced at the crowd, spotting her mom's warm smile, a beacon in the sea of faces. That small spark of love ignited courage within her. "This is a solar-powered bridge. It symbolizes how we can connect with our world sustainably." As she explained her model, Mia saw the eyes of some young girls in the audience widen with interest. They leaned forward, eager to soak in every detail. That flicker of hope made her heart swell. With each step in her presentation, she could feel the weight of Jake's earlier dismissal begin to lift, but then Mia spotted him. Jake was watching, his charming grin replaced with a calculated stare. The momentary joy slipped away. "What if he doesn't believe in me?" The smile wavered on Mia's face as anxiety crept back in. But something unexpected happened. A hand raised from the front row. It was one of the girls from her workshops. "Can girls really build things like this?" she asked, her innocence wrapped in pure curiosity. The room fell silent, all eyes shifting to Mia, waiting for her response. Mia's heart raced, and she realized this was the moment. "Yes, girls can build anything. We have every right to innovate, to create, and to dream." The audience began to erupt in applause. The room filled with an energy that seemed to lift her too. Then, a softer voice piped up from another corner. "How can we get involved?" There were whispers, excitement bubbling beneath the surface of their community. Mia felt a rush of warmth. Maybe they were ready to embrace change after all, but as the energy intensified, she caught Jake's glare, a mix of disdain and insecurity. Her triumph flickered for a moment. She could feel him waiting for her to falter. What if he turned the tides back against her? As the applause continued and the warmth of support surrounded her, Mia wondered, was this the turning point, or was there still more to come? The thought loomed over her, heavy and uncertain. Suddenly, a gust of wind drew Mia's attention to the open doors at the back of the auditorium. The air carried an unexpected chill, a reminder that even amidst hope, shadows still lurked. What awaited her in the coming days? Could she push through the potential backlash to truly instigate the change she dreamed of? With the stirring crowd behind her, she thought, this was just the beginning. The path before her shimmered with both promise and doubt, and Mia knew the only way forward was to brave the storm ahead. Little did she know, true challenges lurked just around the corner. Mia left the stage, her heart still racing from the thrill of her presentation. The applause echoed in her ears, a sweet melody that chased away some of her earlier doubts. As she stepped into the dim backstage area, she was met by her mother, a glimmer of pride lighting up her worried eyes. They hugged tightly, and for that brief moment, the world outside faded away. "I'm so proud of you, Mia," her mother whispered, wiping away a tear. "You are amazing out there." Mia beamed, absorbing her mother's warmth. But as quickly as it came, the joy began to slip away, overshadowed by the lingering worry of Jake's reaction. Would he try to undermine her now that she had stood up, even just a little? "Let us get some fresh air," her mom suggested, as they walked out into the festival area. The air was cooler outside, and the stars twinkled like tiny hopes scattered across the night. Families mingled, laughter and lively music surrounded them, yet Mia felt a weight pressing down. The world felt brighter, but the shadows still loomed large. As they entered the bustling courtyard, Mia spotted Jake at a booth, laughing with friends while showing off his own project, a flashy electronic device that he claimed could translate animal sounds. The familiar knot in her stomach tightened again. He didn't even look her way, and that silence screamed louder than any laughter. Her feet moved instinctively towards him, propelled by a mix of curiosity and dread. "Jake," she called out, her voice steady but nervous. He turned, and the smile on his face faded almost immediately, replaced by a mask of indifference. "What do you want, Mia?" he replied, the edge in his tone cutting through the cheerful atmosphere around them. I wanted to talk about the festival. About how you thought I would fail," she said, surprised at the strength in her voice. The flickering doubts from earlier began to darken her spirit, but she pushed through. I did it. I presented and people cared. His friend snickered, shooting her sideways glances. Great, so a couple of kids clapped for you. Doesn't he mean anything in the real world? He shot back, shrugging dismissively. Mia felt the cold air seep into her bones. What is it with you? Why do you always have to be like this? She managed, her heart racing, knowing she was stepping into dangerous territory. Jake stepped closer, his smirk returning. Because someone has to remind you that not everyone can be a hero, Mia. Just be realistic. The tension simmered between them, the crowd around them fading away, leaving only their confrontation. Mia's heart was thrumming in her chest, the fear of failure looming large. But she felt that fire inside her grow a little brighter. You think I'm just a joke? She challenged, straightening her back. This isn't just for me. It's bigger than that. It's about showing girls everywhere that they can build, create, and lead. Murmurs from people passing by caught her attention, a few heads turning. She could feel the tide starting to shift, curiosity sparking in some faces. Jake narrowed his eyes. Or maybe you're just setting yourself up for a bigger fall. What if it doesn't work out? Just then, her mom called from the distance. Mia, come this way. There was excitement in her voice, and Mia caught a glimpse of more people engaging with her project at the booth. A flicker of hope ignited. I'm going to find out, Jake. I'm going to show everyone what I can do. With that, she turned on her heel and walked away, feeling a mixture of determination and sadness. Her mom beamed as Mia reached her. They're interested in talking to you about your project. They want to work together. Mia's heart soared. But even with her triumph, Jake's words hung in the air like an unsettling cloud. Would the curiosity lead to real change, or would it all come tumbling down? Would Jake try to knock her off that ledge of hope? The festival buzzed with life around her, but Mia knew this was just the beginning of a much bigger challenge. As she watched people gather around her booth, she couldn't shake the feeling that a storm was brewing. And she had to be ready. What would she face next? With the thrill of the day's success battling the dread of future confrontation, Mia closed her eyes for a brief moment, wondering if she had the strength to fight the doubts in her heart. The night held promises, but also the fear of darkness awaiting her return to school. How would she face the world tomorrow? Mia took a deep breath, trying to find balance in the electrifying atmosphere of the festival. Her fingers tightened around the edge of the booth as the crowd swelled, excitement building in the air. She could feel their eyes on her, and with each glance, her heart beat a little faster. What if Jake was right? What if today's enthusiasm was fleeting, a mere flicker that would dim when they returned to school? Hey, Mia. A voice pulled her from her spiral of anxiety. It was Clara, one of her classmates and a fellow participant at the festival. I just saw your presentation. You were brilliant. I can't believe you actually built that machine. Mia's heart lightened. Thanks, Clara. It still feels a bit surreal. She smiled, grateful for the support. I heard there's a chance to showcase our projects at the state competition too. You should totally apply. Clara said, a sparkle in her eyes. Before Mia could respond, more people gathered near the booth, stimulated by Clara's enthusiasm. Interest bloomed, and suddenly, Mia was thrust into the spotlight. As she began explaining her project, the nerves that tightened her throat at the thought of Jake melted away. She spoke with passion about how technology could empower everyone, especially girls like her. Her eyes sparkled as faces lit up with understanding. The questions flooded in, each one fueling her confidence. How does it work? What inspired you? Can we try it? Each answer sparked more interest. This wasn't just a project anymore, it was a movement. But just as exhilaration filled the air, Mia's eyes flickered toward Jake, who stood on the outskirts, arms crossed, his gaze as icy as ever. He had retreated to the shadows, watching her rise with that familiar smirk. The smile she had just worn began to falter. Could it really mean something? Or would it all fall apart when she faced him at school? Later in the evening, when the crowd had thinned, Mia took a moment to step away. She leaned against a cool brick wall, feeling the steady thrum of her heart against her ribcage. feelings of both victory and fear swirling within her. She pulled out her phone, scrolling through messages filled with support from friends and even some family who couldn't be there. Their words were warmth against the chill of uncertainty in her gut. "Mia." Her mom's voice broke into her thoughts. "Look who wants to talk to you." Mia turned, her heart racing again. A small group approached a few girls from school, each wearing expressions of curiosity and admiration. They were the girls who had once sat quietly, often overlooked. "We want to hear about your project," one of them said, enthusiasm evident. Mia's heart swelled. "Really? I'd love to share." As she began recounting her journey, she felt the weight of doubt slightly lift. It felt good to inspire others, to realize that she wasn't just a voice but part of a community. But in the back of her mind, Jake's parting words climbed back in. She could still feel him lurking, waiting for her to falter. After the girls drifted away, Mia searched for her mom in the still bustling courtyard. Finding her talking animatedly with another festival participant, she felt a tug of warmth. But in the corner of her eye, she saw Jake again, this time with his arms crossed tighter and an expression that soured further by the moment. Mia's stomach twisted. "Why can't he just let me be?" she whispered to herself. When her mom finally joined her, Mia forced a smile. "So, what's next?" Her mom placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder, her voice filled with the same pride as before. "You've created something beautiful, Mia. It's time to take the next step. We can work on the application for the state competition." Hope bloomed in Mia's heart, but the shadow of uncertainty still lingered. She glanced back at Jake, who now had a small group of friends around him, laughing at something on his phone. Why did the fear linger? What would happen when the festival lights dimmed and the excitement faded? With a determined breath, Mia thought to herself, "This is my moment. I won't let fear steal my spark." And yet, somewhere deep inside, the nagging question remained, was she really ready for the storm that awaited her when the school doors opened again? And as the festival lights flickered softly against the night sky, Mia turned fully toward her mom. "Let us do this together." But in the back of her mind, another thought crept in. What would Jake's next move be? Mia walked home under a blanket of stars, her heart lighter after sharing her project. Each step felt like an echo of hope, even if it was tinged with a flutter of anxiety. What awaited her at school? That thought loomed like a storm cloud, a dark reminder of Jake's relentless teasing. She tried to shake it off, focusing instead on what her mom had said about the state competition. Just imagine presenting in front of all those people. Mia's mom exclaimed, a brightness in her eyes. "You could change lives, Mia." The image sparked a fire within Mia, but uncertainty doused it quickly. Would her confidence survive the backlash she feared from Jake and his crew? That evening, she struggled to concentrate on her homework. Her room, usually a sanctuary of creativity, felt stifling. The hum of her computer barely registered. Her mind was replaying the faces from the festival, the girls who had listened intently. Their smiles had shone with possibility. Staring at her blank notebook, Mia grabbed a pen. She scribbled state competition across the top of a fresh page. Underneath, she wrote down her vision. It bloomed in her mind, a workshop where she could teach tech to anyone eager to learn, especially young girls like her. "I can do this," she whispered, more to herself than anyone else. "I will do this." Just then, the sound of laughter drifted through her window, pulling her attention. Looking out, she spotted Jake and his friends milling about the neighborhood. The moment their eyes met, that familiar smirk painted Jake's face, as if he could sense her eagerness turn to dread. She felt a chill slice through her excitement. What could he possibly want now? Mia thought, pushing the curtains closed. The next day at school was a mixture of anticipation and dread. When Mia entered the building, she felt all eyes on her, whispers fluttering through the halls. A knot tightened in her stomach. Jake's voice rang out, cutting through the buzz. "Hey, everyone! Check it out! Did you see the freaky machine Mia built? What's next, a robot that does her homework?" Laughter erupted around them, sending a wave of humiliation crashing over Mia. Her heart raced, and the familiar feeling of wanting to disappear took hold. But then, she thought of the girls from the festival, their hopes entwined with hers. This was her fight, her moment. Actually, Mia said, her voice surprisingly steady. I'm applying for the state competition, and I'd love it if you could all come support me. There was a moment of stunned silence. Surprise flickered across Jake's face, followed closely by something that resembled admiration. Support you? That'll be a first, he shot back, but the bite in his words felt thinner, almost playful. Mia felt a surge of determination. At that moment, she chose to embrace her path. You know what? I'm stronger than I think. The rest of the day passed in an emotional whirlwind. Between juggling classes and dodging Jake's snide remarks, Mia found moments of tenderness from unexpected friends. Clara and a group of girls rallied around her, offering help and encouragement to prep for the competition. Afterward, Mia gathered with them in the library, surrounded by books, laughter, and a palpable sense of belonging filling her heart. It felt so right, so needed. But then, deep inside her, doubts crept back. What if Jake rallied others? What if his smirk turned to sabotage? As she closed her eyes, a surge of determination washed over her again. I can't let fear take the lead. The echo of laughter brought her back, and she glanced at the girls. Together, we can build something amazing. Just then, the library door swung open. Jake stepped in, looking for her.
Mia, you need to come talk to me. Now.
Her heart raced. Was this the confrontation she feared, or was it something else entirely? What did he want? Mia's pulse quickened as she locked eyes with Jake. He stood tall, his presence commanding, even in the cozy confines of the library. She willed herself to stay calm, but the butterflies in her stomach were now a full-blown storm. Clara, sensing the tension, moved closer, offering silent support. Let us go outside, Jake said, nodding toward the door. His tone was serious, stripping away the mischievous undertone she'd come to associate him with. Conflicted, Mia felt a squeeze of fear intertwined with curiosity. Just a minute, Clara said, stepping between Mia and Jake. Whatever it is, make it quick. Mia appreciated Clara's protective instinct. As they moved toward the door, Mia's friends exchanged concerned glances, unsure what this sudden shift meant. Outside, the midday sun painted everything in a warm golden hue, but Mia felt a chill creep down her spine. Once they were alone, Jake leaned against the wall with an air of defiance. Look, Mia, he sighed, running a hand through his hair. About what I said earlier. Mia held her breath, tension thick in the air. She could feel her defenses rise. He wasn't off the hook just yet. I didn't mean to tear you down, he continued. I didn't think you'd actually, take it seriously. His voice carried a hint of sincerity that caught Mia off guard. For a moment, she hesitated. Had he come to apologize? Why do you care? She shot back. You've spent more time making fun of me than supporting me. I guess I'm trying to understand, he admitted, a flicker of vulnerability crossing his face. When I saw that you were actually trying to do something significant, I didn't know how to handle it. I figured it was a joke, and I could laugh to fit in. You know? Mia studied him, searching for traces of the boy who had tormented her just moments ago. There was something different here. You think it's a joke to want to teach girls tech? It almost came out as a challenge, daring him to dismiss her again. He sighed deeply. No, I guess I don't. It's impressive, actually. I was thinking that I might help you.
If you want.
With your project. Mia blinked at him, her heart grappling with uncertainty. Could he be genuine? She felt the weight of his earlier harshness, but this conversation opened a door she didn't expect. Help? You? After all the crap you've put me through? Yeah, I know, he replied, his voice low. I'm not proud of it. But I want to be different. I want to change, okay? Maybe you can be my way out of all this. If you don't want to, that's cool, but his gaze softened. I see you, Mia. And it's more than just a freaky machine. That simple, raw acknowledgement made her heartbeat quicken in an unfamiliar way. Mia didn't know if she could trust him. Trust had become a precious commodity, and she wasn't ready to spend it easily. As the silence hung between them, her mind spun. What's in it for you? I don't know, he confessed. Maybe it's just about finding something that actually matters. Mia's stomach twisted, suspicion battling with intrigue. Could this be a turning point? Could they possibly work together despite the past? Fine, she said, her voice steady but guarded. But it's on my terms. He nodded, a faint smile creeping onto his lips.
Deal.
They stood there for a moment, the weight of their past hovering while the promise of collaboration settled in. Mia was surprised by how light she felt. Maybe Jake wasn't finished surprising her, but before she could process that thought, Jake's phone buzzed loudly in his pocket. His expression shifted instantly as he glanced at the screen. I gotta go, he said abruptly, an urgency suddenly flooding his tone. We'll talk later? Yeah, later, she replied, but unease washed back over her. As he turned to leave, Mia felt a mixture of hope and uncertainty swell within her. Was this a step toward something new, or was she walking straight into another trap? Mia took a deep breath, ready to face the unknown. Change was often scary, but there was also a thrill that accompanied it. What would happen next as she navigated this complicated new partnership? Suddenly, a shadow loomed behind her. She turned to find Clara approaching, her brows knitted together. What just happened? Are you really going to trust him? Mia opened her mouth to answer, but the words caught in her throat. The answer she sought was tangled in emotions she hadn't yet unraveled. Could she truly open that door when it might lead to something unpredictable? Maybe, she whispered, uncertainty echoing within her as Clara's eyes widened in disbelief. What would this new alliance mean for her dreams? And more frighteningly, what other secrets might Jake still be hiding? Mia turned back to the library doors, watching Jake disappear into the sunlit distance. Her heart still raced from their conversation, but she felt the weight of Clara's gaze upon her, thick with worry. Mia, I just don't want to see you get hurt again, Clara said, her voice tinged with concern. You've worked so hard on this project. Don't let him mess it up. I know, Mia replied, crossing her arms defensively. But what if he's serious this time? What if he really wants to help? Clara shook her head, frustration flickering in her eyes. He's been a jerk for so long. Did you forget about all those comments? What if it's just a game for him? The doubt twisted sharply in Mia's chest. She recalled every sneer, every snide remark Jake had made, the way he reveled in his power, even among friends. But something about this encounter felt different, a crack in the surface of their tumultuous history, revealing something raw and uncertain beneath. What if I could turn this into something positive? We could reach more girls, Clara. He has connections. Maybe this is how I break the mold, Mia argued, some of her old determination resurfacing. Or maybe it's how you get caught up in more drama, Clara replied, frustration simmering. A heavy silence enveloped them. Mia fought against the internal storm raging within her. She wanted to make a difference, not just for herself, but for girls like her who felt out of place in a tech-driven world. With or without Jake, she had to stay true to her vision. I'll be careful, she offered finally, her voice steadier. I won't let him derail me. This is too important. Clara's expression softened, though her concern remained. Okay. But promise me, if he pulls another stunt I'll back away. I promise. Mia bit her lip, contemplating how to navigate this new course she'd steered for herself. She felt empowered yet precarious, like balancing on a tightrope. And as she glanced at Clara, Mia saw the flicker of hope in her best friend's eyes. Let us focus on the project, Clara said, trying to lighten the mood. We can brainstorm and see what we need to get started. We won't let this distract us. Mia's heart swelled with gratitude. Having Clara by her side felt like having an anchor amidst the waves of uncertainty. Okay, let us do this, Mia replied, her spirits lifting. But a few hours later, with a flurry of ideas scribbled on a notepad and an infectious excitement growing in the small study room, Mia and Clara felt a renewed sense of purpose. They envisioned workshops, coding camps, and inspirational talks designed to ignite a passion for technology among young girls. If Mia could reach even a handful of them, it would be worthwhile. Just as they immersed themselves in planning, Mia's phone chimed with a new message. Her heart skipped when she saw Jake's name flash across the screen. Hey, can we meet up? I've got some ideas for your project. Let us make this work. Mia showed the message to Clara, who scowled slightly. That was fast. Ignoring Clara's skeptical look, Mia was torn between excitement and hesitation. Was this genuine, or was he playing her for a fool? Just one meeting, Mia decided cautiously. I'll hear him out. Clara eyed her, a mix of admiration and worry. Okay, but be careful. You know what's at stake. Mia nodded, her heartbeat quickening again this time, not only from fear, but from the thrill of possibility. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting long shadows around them, Mia felt a growing sense of something monumental on the horizon. A chance to change everything, perhaps even reshape her own story. A knock at the door startled them both. When Mia opened it, she was surprised to see Jake again, his face unreadable but undeniably eager. Ready to brainstorm? He asked, a hint of a smile playing at the corners of his mouth. Sure, Mia replied, stepping aside, but uncertainty slithered through her as she let him in. Would this moment be the leap toward her dreams, or a plunge into chaos? Mia couldn't shake the feeling that she was at the edge of something big, an adventure brimming with potential and danger. As she glanced between Jake and Clara, the air crackled with tension. What if they'd all discovered something more than just ideas today? What if they discovered truths about themselves and each other that would change everything? Mia closed the door softly behind Jake, sensing a shift in the atmosphere. There was something electrifying about his presence, a combination of curiosity and unease that tugged at her. Clara's brow furrowed, her protective instincts on high alert. Okay, so what do you have in mind? Mia asked, trying to keep her voice steady, though she could feel the slight tremor in her hands. Jake leaned casually against the desk, his confident posture a stark reminder of the boy who had once reveled in belittling her. I've been thinking. Your project could really take off if we use social media to promote it.
I can help with that.
Clara crossed her arms, her skepticism palpable. And why exactly do you want to help, Jake? This feels a bit sudden. I know my past hasn't been great, he admitted, instantly sobering. I didn't think it mattered. I was just a kid, you know? But I want to change that. Maybe this is my chance to do something meaningful. Mia searched his eyes for sincerity, feeling the walls she'd built around her heart begin to tremble. Was it possible he actually meant it? Okay. Mia ventured cautiously. Let us say I'm willing to listen. How do you see this working? With a swift movement, Jake grabbed a chair and pulled it close. He began sketching ideas on a notepad, a flicker of passion lighting up his features. What if we create an Instagram campaign? You can share stories of inspiring girls, and I could help boost that content. Engage local influencers. We could even organize a kickoff event, something fun to draw people in. Mia felt herself leaning in, captivated by his enthusiasm. It felt different from the past. This wasn't about him being the star. He was offering the spotlight to others, including her. Sounds good, but we need clear goals, Clara interjected, her protective nature bubbling to the surface. Like, what results are you actually aiming for? Jake nodded, his expression turning serious. We aim to get at least 50 girls to sign up for the first workshop and raise awareness for future events. It's not a joke, I promise I'm in. We just have to work together. Mia exchanged a glance with Clara. The balance of the moment hung in the air. Do they trust him? The thought of all they could do together began to outshine the fears clawing at her heart. Okay, let us give it a shot, Mia finally said, emboldened by an unfamiliar sense of hope. But no tricks. This needs to be real. Absolutely, Jake replied, a weight lifting from his shoulders. You'll see, this is going to change everything. As they dived into planning, the conversation flowed easily. Clara offered ideas for themes while Mia represented the vision behind each workshop. The initial tension began to ease, replaced by a shared sense of purpose. But in the back of her mind, doubt curled, whispering, Was this the beginning of a new partnership or simply a setup for disappointment? Hours flew by like minutes, and before they knew it, plans were set, excitement brewing. They bounced off each other as energy, laughter mixing with brainstorming a cocktail of creation. As they wrapped up for the night, Jake turned to Mia, a hint of vulnerability in his gaze. I can't explain how much this means to me. I'm Mia, Clara interrupted, her voice steady. Can we talk for a second? Mia raised an eyebrow but nodded. Sure. They stepped outside, the cool evening air wrapping around them. Clara crossed her arms tightly, her expression serious. Are you really okay with this? I still worry about you getting hurt. I know, but what if this is a turning point for him? Mia felt the words tumble out, not convinced they were even true. And for us? Just promise you won't lose sight of your own goals, Clara replied, her voice softening. You shouldn't let him pull you away from what matters. Mia stared into her friend's eyes, a wave of gratitude sweeping over her. I promise. I won't let anything derail us, and I hope this is real. When they returned to the study room, Jake was already packing up. We did great work today. I can't wait to see how this unfolds. Yeah, Mia replied, her heart racing. Again. The excitement was palpable, yet thick with uncertainty. As Jake left, Mia glanced at Clara, who gave her a skeptical smile, but it flickered with a bit of hope. Amid all the chaos brewing inside her, Mia felt a small spark igniting. What if this was truly the chance to rewrite her story and find a way to connect more deeply with girls like her? What would it take to challenge everything she thought she knew about herself and Jake? With questions swirling in her mind, Mia couldn't shake the feeling that they were all on the brink of something that would change their lives and the lives of others forever. What had they really set in motion? The sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow through the study room windows. Mia couldn't help but feel alive, the excitement buzzing in her veins. But as she stared at the sketches Jake had left behind, doubt crept back in. Was she setting herself up for heartbreak or creating something monumental? The next day at school, Mia was flooded with nervous energy. Clara walked beside her, a comforting presence, as they made their way to the cafeteria. You okay? Clara asked, raising an eyebrow at Mia's distracted expression. Yeah, just thinking about everything, Mia replied. What if we actually make a difference? What if people want to hear their stories? She didn't know if she was more scared of failing or of what success might demand. Clara nodded, a hint of a smile playing on her lips. You've always wanted this, Mia. Just stay focused. As they entered the cafeteria, the bustling noise of lunch hour surrounded them. The voices blended into a lively hum, but Mia felt an odd detachment. Jake waved them over, a wide grin showcasing his confidence. As they approached, Mia noticed a group of girls sitting nearby, watching intently. They all looked around her age, eyes sparkling with curiosity. Hey, I was thinking, Jake started, glancing at the girls. What if we invite them to be part of the project? It could help us reach our target audience. Before Mia could respond, one girl, dark-haired with freckles and a bright smile, piped up. I'm Sophia. I'd love to help out. Her enthusiasm was infectious. Other girls jumped in, offering their ideas and support, quickly gathering around their table. Mia's heart raced. This is incredible. We can create a space where everyone feels heard. The energy shifted, sparking a new realization within Mia. Maybe this was more than just a project. It was growing into a community. For the next hour, they laughed and brainstormed. Each idea was met with encouragement, their dreams swirling together like a colorful storm. Clara sat back, observing, her earlier apprehensions slowly dissolving. Mia felt a swell of pride as she led the group through their plans. They exchanged social media handles, promising to stay connected. Let us meet again tomorrow after school. Same place? Mia suggested, excitement bubbling over. After the girls left, she turned to Clara, her heart full. This is really happening. They actually want to be part of this. Clara smiled, but her eyes held a gentle caution. Just remember, not everyone will be as genuine as they seem. Hang on to your vision. I know, but look at how amazing this could be. Mia insisted, tension easing her worries momentarily. She glanced over at Jake, who was scribbling away in a notepad. The nervousness she'd felt earlier had transformed into exhilaration. Just then, Mia's phone buzzed. A new message from Jake flashed on the screen. "We should talk later. I need your input." Her stomach tightened. Was this about their plans? Or did he have something else in mind? As the day went on, she struggled to focus, her mind drifting any time it wasn't occupied. What would they discuss? Was he still eager to move forward? Or would something ruin the budding connection? Finally, the last bell rang. Mia found Jake leaning against her locker. He looked serious, his brows furrowed. "Mia, I really need you to see this." Heart racing, Mia followed him to a quieter corner of the hallway. It felt intimate and loaded with uncertainty. "What's up?" Jake sighed, running a hand through his hair. "I've been thinking about how real this is getting, and I want to make sure." But before he could finish, Mia interrupted, a mixture of fear and hope intertwining in her chest. "Wait, what if they think I'm just using them? What if this all falls apart?" Jake looked at her intensely, searching for the right words. "Mia, it's not just about you. It's bigger than that. But we need to be honest with everyone, especially ourselves." In that moment, Mia felt a stir of determination rise within. They were on the cusp of change, but it would mean embracing vulnerability and truth. "Okay, let us be real. Then," she said, her voice steady, "it's time we step forward together." But as they stepped out of the shadows, her phone vibrated again. A notification that made her blood run cold. A group message from the girls. "Guys, we want to talk." Something's not right. Mia's heart sank, uncertainty crashing over her like a wave. What had she unleashed? Mia felt the ground shift beneath her. The excitement of the past few days was melting into anxiety. She glanced at Jake, uncertainty etched on his face. What could be wrong? She wondered. "We need to address this," Jake urged, breaking her train of thought. "Let us meet up with them." As they made their way to the agreed spot, Mia felt a knot tighten in her stomach. Would this be a confrontation? Or a chance to solidify their vision? The energy in the hallway felt heavy, a storm brewing just beneath the surface. Mia entered the small classroom where they had first gathered. The familiar whiteboard was filled with colorful ideas, sketches of a bright future with laughter echoing. But as she looked around, the lightness had vanished. The girls were gathered in a tight circle, concern written on each face. "Hey," Mia said, trying to inject warmth into her tone. "What's going on?" Sophia stepped forward, her eyes wide with worry. "We've been talking," she started. "And, we're wondering if Jake is really committed to this project." The room fell silent. Mia's heart thudded. She felt a mix of defensiveness for Jake and a pang of guilt for the doubts lingering in the air. Jake took a step forward, meeting their gazes head-on. "Look, I know I haven't been the best, but I want to help." More murmurs erupted, casting doubt into the corners of Mia's heart. "You have a lot to prove," another girl, Lila, chimed in. "We've worked hard, and you can't just walk in and take control." Mia sensed the tension and felt the need to speak up for him.
Wait.
This could be an opportunity for all of us. Yes, Jake's made mistakes, but he wants to change. She looked at Jake, feeling the heat of the moment.
Right?
He nodded, sincerity in his eyes. "I wouldn't waste this opportunity or your trust. I promise I'll earn it." There was a softness in Mia's heart that began to swell. These girls, they were brave. But she also saw fear flickering in their eyes, and she understood. Would they trust a boy who had dismissed their dreams? "Why don't we just be open? Let us share our goals and fears about this project together," Mia proposed. "We're on this journey together, right?" The girls exchanged glances, clearly still hesitant. But then Sophia spoke again. "Okay, let us give this a shot. But we all have to be honest." Mia smiled, feeling the glimmer of hope return. "Then let us set our expectations and ground rules. If we're going to do this, we have to do it together." As they discussed their vision, something shifted. Each girl opened up, letting go of their fear and sharing why this project mattered to them. It turned into a vibrant exchange, with laughter filling the room as ideas bounced around, each contribution reinforcing their bond. Jake listened, genuinely engaged, listening intently while he took notes. Mia felt a swell of pride for him. He was laying down his own foundation of trust, brick by brick. "And if things don't go as planned, we all stand together," Mia added with a sense of conviction. "No one gets left behind." As the meeting wrapped up, Mia felt warmth flood her heart. "So we're all in this together?" she asked, lifting her chin. Nods echoed around the circle. Surprisingly, Jake smiled, and for a moment, his charming grin felt sincere. "I see you all," he said quietly. "Truly." The girls smiled back at him, the ice visibly melting. Days turned into weeks, and the initiative soared. The workshops came to life, filled with giggles and bright-eyed girls excited about discovering STEM fields. The project flourished, and even Jake proved his commitment by stepping back and allowing the girls to shine. Every time they gathered, politics of the past faded. A new community formed, and with it, each person found purpose. Sarah, Lila, and Clara brought their strengths, making it truly collaborative. As the state competition neared, Mia stood before her solar-powered bridge model, the culmination of countless hours of teamwork and heart. The glimmering LEDs sparkled with the joy of their shared journey. She was no longer a spark in darkness, she was part of a radiant constellation. On the big day, she took a deep breath, stepping onto the stage with her friends surrounding her. The applause washed over her like sunlight, and she felt a rush of gratitude for every hand that helped along the way. When the time came to speak, she stood tall. With her heart on her sleeve, she shared their story, the power of community, resilience, and the strength of girls lifting each other up. By the end, tears of joy spilled down her face as she finished, embraced by friends who had become family. The judges applauded, but it was the empowerment in that auditorium that resonated the most. Mia took one last glance around the room and saw familiar faces sparkling with hope. Hands entwined, they turned dreams into a reality, and as her name echoed as the competition winner, Mia knew this was just the beginning of something incredible. This was true change, ignited by bravery, and they had built more than bridges. They had formed connections that would last a lifetime. Now it's time for you to take action. You need to subscribe immediately to our channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment your reactions and feelings about the ending, because your voice matters. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Help us spread this message. The power of community starts with you.